I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is. That
I just read it because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience.
Were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list.
Justin Baldoni's highly anticipated adaptation of the best-selling novel It Ends With Us was initially celebrated as a perfect pairing of Baldoni's emotionally authentic direction and Blake Lively's charisma, with fans confident the film would honor the source material's themes of love, growth, and self-discovery. But the project quickly spiraled into controversy as rumors of creative clashes emerged. Whispers suggested Lively pushed for comedic touches and bold fashion-forward choices, while Baldoni argued for a more faithful, subtle tone. What began as a creative debate escalated into Lively filing a formal complaint, claiming she was sidelined. Baldoni refuted her allegations by producing text messages, production logs, and transcripts that painted her as an active participant, before countering with a $400 million defamation lawsuit. Speculation intensified as evidence suggested Lively's courtroom testimony downplayed her involvement in script rewrites and wardrobe decisions. The drama ignited a media frenzy that reached new heights when Baldoni's wife, usually private and in the background, stepped forward with her own account. She insisted she had witnessed Lively enthusiastically embracing comedic rewrites, suggesting lines, laughing on set, and personally selecting designer pieces for her character's look. These claims directly contradicted Lively's portrayal of herself as creatively overruled. Insiders revealed Baldoni's wife had acted as an informal consultant throughout production, offering guidance on casting, script choices, and behind-the-scenes dynamics. She reportedly grew increasingly convinced that Lively's accusations were misleading after reviewing court documents that suggested the actress had never supported lighter moments or couture styling assertions. Baldoni's wife disputed by recalling specific instances of Lively showing excitement for both. If her testimony aligns with Baldoni's documented evidence, Lively's central argument that her creative vision was ignored could collapse, undermining her credibility and shifting the narrative of the legal battle entirely. Yet, questions remain about whether Baldoni's wife will testify formally. For now, she appears to be clarifying details quietly with insiders rather than in court, a move that has fueled speculation across social media. Fans dissect every new revelation, with some believing her disclosures prove Lively exaggerated her claims, while others caution that, as Baldoni's spouse, her perspective may be biased to protect his reputation and the massive stakes of his lawsuit. Ultimately, the situation underscores the messy realities of filmmaking, where creative choices evolve constantly. What seems exciting in rewrites or wardrobe fittings may later feel misaligned once audiences soar leaked images. The explosive mix of artistic disagreements, legal battles, and personal loyalties has transformed It Ends With Us from a highly awaited adaptation into one of Hollywood's most scrutinized controversies, leaving the public questioning not just the film's creative direction, but also the very motives driving both its star and its director.
That ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people, maybe. And then I get a call from my manager, right? And they were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
More honored that because, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful that we're able to have this much anticipation and so many people want to go see.
In Hollywood, where public perception can make or break reputations, the unfolding drama around It Ends With Us has become a case study in how quickly narratives shift. Justin Baldoni's wife, usually outside the limelight, has spoken out to clarify what she witnessed behind the scenes. She explained that creative decisions often look different in early pre-production than they do after multiple rewrites, meaning Blake Lively may have genuinely supported comedic touches at first before later, feeling they diluted the novel's emotional weight. Still, Baldoni's legal team argues this doesn't explain why Lively would testify in court in ways that conflict with documented communications. Credibility is paramount, and even one proven inconsistency could undermine her entire complaint. Central to the dispute is whether Lively misrepresented her involvement. Text messages purportedly show her praising comedic scenes she now claims to have opposed, and Baldoni's side maintains that such contradictions reveal a misleading account. His wife has also addressed the controversy over costuming, while the novel depicts a protagonist facing financial hardship. Behind the scenes, photos of Lively and couture drew criticism for clashing with the character's modest background. She insists, however, that these outfits weren't imposed but rather embraced in in some cases personally chosen by Lively, whose fashion expertise played a major role in shaping the film's visual identity. The court, though, is unlikely to weigh whether comedy or luxury fashion overshadowed the drama. Instead, it will focus on the reliability of Lively's statements versus tangible evidence such as emails, transcripts, and production logs. If wife can credibly testify that Lively was not only involved, but sometimes led the very decisions she later disavowed, the scales could tip heavily in Baldoni's favor. Judges and juries are especially attuned to patterns of contradictory testimony that suggest fabrication for legal or financial advantage. For now, the public is left piecing together leaks, legal filings, and insider accounts. But the bigger picture paints a project that began with extraordinary promise, only to collapse into a high-stakes clash of visions between its star and its director. Should Lively's credibility be successfully dismantled, the damage could extend beyond the courtroom, threatening her carefully built brand while bolstering Baldoni's case in one of Hollywood's most heated, creative, and legal battles.
You got the job or there's something wrong. And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distant.
Based on a beautiful, really important book. And it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life and breaks them and ends the circle.
While Justin Baldoni may ultimately prevail in the courtroom, the promotional campaign for It Ends With Us remains at risk of being overshadowed by the legal and personal drama that now surrounds it. Social media has become a battleground of divided opinion. Some fans rally behind Blake Lively, viewing her as a female creative whose ideas were undervalued by a male-led production team, while others side with Baldoni, insisting that comedic flourishes and glamorous costumes were ideas Lively initially embraced before backtracking in response to fan backlash. Further fueling the debate are comments online from alleged crew members who claim Lively was deeply engaged in everything from script adjustments to wardrobe selections accounts that echo Baldoni's wife's testimony. Lively's camp, however, dismisses these narratives as incomplete snapshots that don't capture her full experience. At the core of this saga lies the question of personal brand power. Lively has long cultivated an image blending elegance, wit, and high fashion, making it plausible that she would champion comedic moments and couture styling consistent with her public persona. Yet Baldoni's wife argues that the real issue isn't artistic preference, but Lively later misrepresenting her role in these decisions within a formal legal setting. In her telling, this conflict is not merely a creative disagreement, but a matter of truth versus distortion, as text messages, voice recordings, and production logs, all staples of modern filmmaking, become decisive evidence in determining who is being forthright. Having observed the process firsthand, Baldoni's wife has suggested the director's camp possesses extensive documentation, much of which has yet to surface. This looming trove of evidence raises the possibility that Lively, facing reputational damage from disclosures that contradict her testimony, may be forced into settlement discussions designed to shield her image from further harm. Others speculate she may stand firm, arguing that her earlier enthusiastic messages were simply brainstorming exchanges before realizing the direction diluted the novel's emotional core. Industry experts note that a settlement would likely be the pragmatic choice given the astronomical sums at stake and the unpredictability of how a jury might interpret conflicting testimony. Yet Baldoni's wife, normally private and far from the spotlight, remains resolute in her insistence that much of what has been said misleads the public. She positions herself as a reluctant whistleblower, motivated not by attention, but by a desire to protect her husband's reputation. Some observers praise her candor as brave, while others caution her perspective may be unavoidably biased. Still, her statements are harder to dismiss as more corroborating material surfaces, particularly if date-stamped communications and collaborative notes align with her account. Among readers of the novel, emotions are especially raw. It Ends With Us is more than a love story too. Its fanzit is a meditation on resilience, trauma, and self-discovery. There is mounting fear that the adaptation's legacy will be reduced to tabloid spectacle, overshadowing the deeply personal themes that made the book beloved in the first place. Ironically, the very motifs of Colleen Hoover's novel-breaking cycles, embracing truth, finding strength, are now mirrored in the film's behind-the-scenes collapse, where fractured relationships and shifting narratives threaten to eclipse artistry. In today's Hollywood, where hype can evaporate overnight under the weight of scandal, Baldoni's wife's intervention underscores the precarious role of personal dynamics in collaborative projects. Her version of events suggests the film began as a partnership marked by mutual respect and Lively's, full investment only for the narrative of her being sidelined to emerge after negative public reactions. She argues this timeline reflects reputation management more than reality. Whether the courts will uphold this interpretation remains uncertain, but the stakes are immense. Lawsuits of this magnitude not only jeopardize production schedules but can tarnish a finished film's reception, casting a shadow that investors and studios dread for its potential to depress box office earnings or derail awards campaigns. For fans yearning for an authentic adaptation, hope lingers that the storm might clear and the film could yet resonate if transparency and compromise prevail. History offers examples of productions mired in chaos that nonetheless triumphed critically and commercially. But success requires trust and clarity, commodities eroded here by every leaked message, contradictory claim, and insider revelation. By stepping into the spotlight, Baldoni's wife illustrates that no participant, however peripheral, is immune from scrutiny when they hold insights with the power to sway a case of this scale. In revealing what she believes to be the truth, she has compelled both Lively's and Baldoni's teams to reconsider their strategies. Should her revelations gain traction, Lively may be forced to recalibrate her claims. But if her testimony is exposed as biased or incomplete, Baldoni's position could also weaken, demonstrating the delicate balance of credibility in an industry built on perception. Indeed, the ultimate verdict may not be delivered in a courtroom at all, but in the court of public opinion, where careers are shaped and audiences decide whose narrative to believe. If the public concludes Lively distorted the truth, her future projects could suffer under suspicion. But if Baldoni is seen as manipulating events to scapegoat her, he too could face reputational fallout. Either way, a film once heralded as a faithful adaptation of a beloved novel now finds itself under scrutiny for reasons entirely separate from its artistic merits. For fans hoping for a work that honors the novel's emotional gravity, Baldoni's wife's disclosures cut both ways. They might bring clarity about how faithfully the film represents Hoover's story, but every new leak and contradictory statement drags the project further from the heartfelt narrative it was meant to embody. Ultimately, the truth that emerges from this controversy, however partial or painful, will reshape not only the legal battle, but also the cultural memory of how one of the most anticipated adaptations of recent years became engulfed in turmoil. The lingering question remains, will Baldoni's wife's evidence dismantle Lively's legal case, or will it simply add another dizzying twist to an already tangled saga? What is certain is that with her stepping forward, the complexity has only deepened. And as fans, insiders, and industry watchers track each development, the central mystery persists. Can It Ends With Us rise above the chaos to deliver the poignant, transformative experience readers cherished, or will it remain defined not by the story it sought to tell, but by the storm that consumed it?